What if you want to start a business, but there's one problem? You don't have much money. Maybe you have only $50. Maybe you have $100. Maybe you have almost nothing saved. And every time you hear someone talk about starting a business, they tell you that you need capital. You need an office. You need equipment. You need inventory. You need a website. You need employees. You need advertising. And before you even make your first sale, you've already spent thousands of dollars. But here's the truth. You don't always need a lot of money to start a business. What you need is a problem worth solving, a customer who has that problem, and a way to deliver a solution. Money can make starting easier. But money isn't the only resource you have. You also have your time, your skills, your knowledge, your creativity, your relationships, your ability to communicate, and most importantly, your ability to learn. In this video, we're going to break down how to start a business when you have almost no money. And by the end, you'll understand how to start small, get your first customer, generate revenue, and gradually use that revenue to build something bigger. Let's begin. Step 1. Stop thinking you need the perfect business. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is spending months trying to find the perfect business idea. They watch hundreds of videos. They research different industries. They compare business models. They make plans. They design logos. They create business names, but they never actually sell anything. Don't fall into that trap. Your first business doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be possible. Ask yourself, what can I do with the resources I already have? Maybe you can clean houses. Maybe you can wash cars. Maybe you can edit videos. Maybe you can design graphics. Maybe you can cook. Maybe you can repair phones. Maybe you can tutor students. Maybe you can cut grass. Maybe you can help businesses with their social media. Maybe you can resell products. Maybe you have a professional skill you can offer as a service. Start with what you already have. You can improve the business later. Step 2. Start with a service instead of inventory. If you have very little money, one of the easiest business models to consider is a service business. Why? Because inventory costs money. You have to buy products before you sell them. If they don't sell, your money can become trapped in inventory. A service can be different. You can often sell your time, skill, or expertise first. For example, imagine you want to start a cleaning business. You don't need a warehouse full of products. You need the basic tools required to perform the service. Or imagine you're good at graphic design. You can sell a design service without buying physical inventory. Or you're good at video editing. You can edit videos for customers using equipment you already have. The key is to choose a service that people actually need. Step 3. Find a real problem. Don't start by asking, what can I sell? Start by asking, what problem can I solve? This changes everything. Imagine people in your area constantly complain that they don't have time to clean their homes. That's a problem. Maybe small businesses struggle to create social media content. That's a problem. Maybe people have dirty cars but don't have time to clean them. That's a problem. Maybe students struggle with a particular subject. That's a problem. Maybe businesses need someone to deliver products. That's a problem. Your job is to identify the problem and create a solution. The more painful, frequent, or inconvenient the problem is, the more valuable a good solution can become. Step 4. Start with people you already know. Your first customer doesn't have to be a stranger. Look around you. Friends, family members, neighbors, local businesses, people you went to school with, people in your community, people you already have some relationship with. Tell them exactly what you're offering. Don't simply say, I'm starting a business. Say, I provide this specific service, and I can help you solve this specific problem. For example, I provide mobile car cleaning in this area. Or, I help small businesses create promotional videos. Or, I provide home cleaning services. Be specific. People need to understand what you're offering and why they should care. Step 5. Get your first customer before spending big. This is one of the most important rules. Don't spend thousands of dollars trying to build a business before you know whether people will buy from you. Test your idea first. Find one customer. Make the sale. Deliver the service. Get feedback. Then improve. Imagine you want to start a food business. Don't immediately rent a restaurant. Make a small amount of food. Find customers. See what they like. Learn how much it costs. Calculate your profit. Then decide whether to expand. The same principle applies to almost any business. Validate before you scale. Step 6. Use what you already have. When you don't have money, you need to become creative with your existing resources. Do you have a smartphone? You can use it to communicate with customers, take photos, record videos, advertise your services, and manage basic business activities. Do you have transportation? You may be able to offer delivery or mobile services. Do you have a computer? You may be able to offer design, editing, writing, administrative, or technical services. Do you have a useful skill? That skill can become your first product. Do you have knowledge? You may be able to teach it. Do you have relationships? Your network can help you find your first customers. Don't focus only on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Step 7. Don't waste money on things that don't produce sales. When people start businesses, they often spend money on things that make them feel like they're running a business. A fancy logo, business cards, expensive packaging, a large office, professional photographs, a complicated website, and other unnecessary expenses. These things aren't automatically bad, but they shouldn't come before proving that customers want your product or service. Your first priority is customers, then sales, then profit, then improvement and expansion. You can create a simple professional identity without spending a fortune. Your business doesn't become legitimate because your logo looks expensive. It becomes legitimate when you consistently deliver value to paying customers. Step 8. Reinvest your first profits. Let's say you finally make your first $100. Congratulations, but don't immediately spend all of it. Ask, what could I do with this money to make the business better? Maybe you need better tools. Maybe you need transportation. Maybe you need materials. Maybe you need packaging. Maybe you need advertising. Maybe you need training. Maybe you need to improve your workspace. Put some money back into the business. This is how you turn a small amount of capital into a growing operation. Your first profit doesn't need to change your lifestyle. It can help build your next opportunity. Step 9. Learn how to sell. A great business idea is useless if nobody knows about it. That's why sales is one of the most important skills you can develop. And you don't need a large advertising budget to start learning sales. You need to learn how to communicate value. Don't tell someone, "My service is great." Explain what problem you solve. For example, instead of saying, "I do car washing," say, "I provide convenient mobile car cleaning so you don't have to spend your weekend washing your vehicle." Now you're selling the benefit, not just the service. Customers don't buy products simply because they exist. They buy solutions to problems. Learn to communicate that solution clearly. Step 10. Use free marketing. You don't need a huge advertising budget to get your first customers. Start with free or low-cost methods. Tell people directly. Use community groups where appropriate. Create useful social media content. Ask satisfied customers for referrals. Put your business information where your target customers can see it. Create before and after photos where appropriate and with permission. Demonstrate your work. Teach people something. Show results. Word of mouth can be extremely powerful for local businesses. If you provide excellent service and customers trust you, they may recommend you to others. One customer can potentially become 3. 3 can become 10. And 10 can become 50. That's how small businesses grow. Step 11. Charge a price that makes sense. Having almost no money doesn't mean you should work for free forever. You need to understand your costs. Suppose you provide a service for $20, but transportation costs $5, materials cost $7. Your time is worth something. Now your actual profit is much lower than $20. That's why you need to calculate your numbers. Know your cost, your selling price, your gross profit, your operating expenses, and your actual profit. Don't compete only by being the cheapest. Instead, focus on providing value. Sometimes customers will pay more for better quality, convenience, speed, reliability, or professionalism. Step 12. Turn one customer into many. Your first customer is important, but your second customer should come from what you learned from the first. Ask yourself, what did they like? What did they dislike? What could I improve? Would they recommend me? Would they buy again? Could I offer them another useful service? This is how you develop your business. Your customers are giving you information. Pay attention. If 5 customers independently ask for the same additional service, that could be a business opportunity. If customers repeatedly complain about the same problem, improve your process. Business growth comes from listening. Step 13. Build a simple system. At the beginning, you might do everything yourself. You find customers, you answer messages, you deliver the service, you collect payments, you handle complaints, you manage expenses. That's normal. But as the business grows, you need systems. Create simple procedures. How do customers contact you? How do you price jobs? How do you schedule appointments? How do you collect payments? How do you handle complaints? How do you track expenses? How do you follow up? Write these things down. A system makes your business more organized. And eventually, it can make it easier to delegate tasks to other people. 3 businesses you can start with almost nothing. Let's make this practical. Here are 3 examples. Example 1, cleaning service. Start with basic cleaning equipment. Find your first customers. Offer a specific service. Deliver excellent results. Get referrals. Reinvest your profits. Eventually, hire additional cleaners. You started with the service. You could potentially end up with a team. Example 2, video editing. If you already have a computer or capable device, learn video editing. Create sample work. Approach small businesses, creators, musicians, and other potential customers. Offer editing services. Build a portfolio. Increase your rates as your skills improve. Eventually, you could build an editing agency. Again, the business starts with a skill. Example 3, mobile car cleaning. Start with basic equipment. Find customers in your area. Offer convenient mobile cleaning. Take before and after photos with permission. Build a reputation. Create packages. Offer recurring cleaning plans. Reinvest into better equipment. Eventually, you could have employees handling multiple vehicles. The business grows because the process becomes repeatable. Your first $1,000 matters. Your first $1,000 in business revenue can teach you a lot. It teaches you how to find customers, how to sell, how to price, how to manage expenses, how to deliver a service, how to deal with difficult customers, how to reinvest, and how to calculate profit. Don't obsess over making $100,000 immediately. Focus on getting your first sale, then your first $100, then your first $500, then your first $1,000. Once you understand how to make $1,000, you can start asking, how do I repeat this? That's where scalability begins. Don't borrow a lot of money too early. When you don't have capital, borrowing can seem tempting. You might think, if I could just borrow $10,000, I could build my business. But debt doesn't automatically create a successful business. It creates an obligation. You still have to repay the money. And if the business doesn't work, the debt remains. That's why beginners should be cautious about taking on large financial obligations before proving their business model. Start as lean as possible. Validate demand. Generate revenue. Then consider whether additional capital is actually necessary. The low-money business formula. Here's the formula I want you to remember. Skill plus problem plus customer plus sale plus reinvestment, growth. Start with a skill. Find a problem. Find someone who has that problem. Make an offer. Get paid. Deliver excellent work. Reinvest part of the profit. Repeat. That's it. You don't need to make the process more complicated than it needs to be. Final message. If you have almost no money, don't automatically assume that means you can't start a business. It simply means you need to choose your business model carefully. You need to start lean. You need to use your existing resources. You need to focus on services and skills where appropriate. You need to find real problems. You need to get customers before spending heavily. You need to learn sales. You need to control your costs. And you need to reinvest your profits. Remember, you don't need a big business to make your first dollar. You need a customer. You don't need a huge team. You need a useful solution. You don't need a fancy office. You need a way to deliver value. And you don't need to know everything before you begin. You can learn as you grow. Your first business may be small. It may not look impressive. You might start with one customer and a simple service. But don't underestimate small beginnings. Every large business started with someone solving a problem for someone else. So stop asking, how can I start a business if I don't have money? Start asking, what problem can I solve with what I already have? That question can lead you to opportunities you never noticed before. Start small. Start smart. Make your first sale. Learn from your customers. Reinvest your profits. And keep building, because you don't need a fortune to start building a business. Sometimes you just need one skill, one problem, one customer, and the courage to make the first offer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.